Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And boy, it sure felt like summer out there today, didn't it? Look at this beautiful shot. This is from our cross camera at Wenatchee Heights, looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. Beautiful blue skies, a few high cirrus clouds out there, but didn't really stop the sun from doing its job today, with temperatures well into the mid and upper 80s around north central Washington. And we will see beautiful day once again tomorrow, and then some windy conditions will move back in. Really just breezy for us here, mainly in the Wenatchee area. Most of the wind in our viewing area will be over in the Columbia Basin, where we could see gusts between 20 and 30 miles an hour. I think in Wenatchee, mainly wind between 5 and 15 miles an hour, but considering that we are almost now 2 inches behind as far as moisture goes for the year, it is an elevated risk for grass fire spread. So be very, very careful if you are outside and have outdoor plans this weekend. We'll talk more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the Chelan-Douglas County area has now surpassed 900, with 1,000 in sight. A 12-year-old boy was seriously injured Saturday morning when the personal watercraft he was operating collided with a ski boat on the Columbia River. A Chelan man convicted of child molestation almost 30 years ago is headed back to prison for reoffending. And a Wenatchee domestic violence offender was sentenced on Monday to 4 years in prison for an assault in which he threatened both his former partner and their minor children with a knife. But first, we begin tonight. A Mattawa man in his 50s who died at his home has been identified as Grant County's 8th fatality now from COVID-19. The Grant County Health District said Monday that the man had underlying health conditions. The district said their investigation determined the man was not exposed at a workplace, but likely caught the virus in the community. Grant County reported 89 new positive tests for the virus between Saturday and Monday, including 57 on Sunday. There are 11 Grant County residents currently hospitalized with the virus. Well, the number of COVID-19 cases detected in the Chelan-Douglas region topped 900 for the first time over the weekend, and they're on track to reach 1,000 by tomorrow. The two-county health district reported a total of 994 cases as of this morning, including 97 cases discovered since Friday. Most new cases were concentrated in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, but 17 were patients from Kashmir. The district says 21 people are now hospitalized in Wenatchee with the virus. Hospital managers with Confluence Health have expressed concern over the rising number of coronavirus victims needing inpatient care. Spokesman Andrew Canning says of the 21 patients hospitalized right now, 9 require ventilators to breathe. Well, in other news, a 12-year-old boy was seriously injured Saturday morning when the personal watercraft he was operating collided with a ski boat on the Columbia River. The accident happened near the Sunland community in Grant County, not far from the Gorge Amphitheater. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said at about 10:30 a.m., the Western Washington youth steered into the path of a 1980 AGC runabout ski boat being operated by Alex England of Bow, Washington. The boy went under the boat and then was struck by the propeller. He was taken by helicopter to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee and later transferred to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, where he was in stable condition. A passenger on the watercraft, another 12-year-old boy, was treated for minor injuries. England was not injured. The sheriff's office said there was no indication anyone involved in the accident was impaired. Well, a Chelan man convicted of child molestation almost 30 years ago is headed back to prison for reoffending. 56-year-old Timothy Wade Cook pleaded guilty on Monday to charges of molesting 3 different youths and to a count of promoting commercial sexual abuse of a minor. He took that plea to avoid the more stringent sentence for a charge of first-degree child molestation. Cook admitted abusing the victims between the years of 1998 and 2017. All were boys between 12 and 16 years old. Cook was previously convicted of child sexual abuse back in 1992. When he's sentenced on August 17th, he could receive anywhere from 20 years to life in prison. Well, a Wenatchee domestic violence offender was sentenced Monday to 4 years in prison for an assault in which he threatened both his former partner and their minor children with a knife. Alex Mitchell Ruiz, who's 31, pleaded guilty last week to second-degree assault, witness tampering, and felony harassment. In March, Ruiz forced open his partner's door, shut the children in a bedroom, and then held her captive at knife point for up to 45 minutes while making violent threats. The woman was able to flee to a neighbor's home and then call police. Chelan County Judge Leslie Allen also ordered Ruiz to have no contact with his victims for 10 years. Coming up next, the Road 11 fire that scorched almost 10,000 acres over the weekend is mostly contained tonight. The COVID-19 pandemic continues its effects on government services. And in-river work begins tomorrow on the $22.5 million West Kashmir Bridge replacement project. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. If you're ready for a party on the water, check out the line of Sylvan pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors. Plush chairs at the rear fishing station will have you casting in comfort. And your friends and family who aren't so interested in what the fish have to offer can lounge on luxurious furniture in the front. See the Sylvan line of pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors.
We're dealing.
Bob File's gonna make you smile.
Welcome back. In another news, the Road 11 fire that scorched almost 10,000 acres over the weekend is mostly contained tonight. The Type 3 Incident Management Team today said containment was at 75% and mop-up work has started. The fire broke out Saturday outside Withrow and swiftly burned toward Mansfield. Firefighters say it burned several outbuildings, damaged one home, and consumed 9,939 acres before it could be corralled. The COVID-19 pandemic continues its effects on government services. The Colville Confederate Tribes announced they're extending the shutdown of most tribal government services through September to help prevent the spread of the virus. The shutdown was originally due to end yesterday. The reservation has been closed to non-essential visitors since early spring. The Colville Reservation covers 1.4 million acres of eastern Washington and about 9,500 enrolled members. Well, in river work, it will begin tomorrow on the $22.5 million West Kashmir Bridge replacement project. Workers will be installing temporary pilings in the Wenatchee River to support a work platform as the almost 100-year-old bridge continues to be dismantled and then work begins on its replacement. The river will remain open for recreationists, but signs have been posted advising rafters, tubers, kayakers, and others that they'll need to stay to the right when passing the work zone. The Chelan County Public Works Department says in-river work will continue until September 30th and then resume next summer during the same time frame. The new bridge, the largest public works project in county history, is expected to be completed late next year. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Nissan is the value leader in new cars and SUVs. Check out these new models starting at under $20,000. The all-new Versa from $17,020. The all-new Sentra from $17,400. And the all-new Kicks from $17,995. Now you can have the Nissan style, performance, and reliability, all for under $20,000.
And they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The 175-acre Sunset Fire, which broke out yesterday in Wenatchee's northwest foothills, is tamped down now and under control after a swift response by local and state firefighting agencies. In tonight's features story, Chelan County Fire District 1 Chief Brian Brett told NCWLIFE News as many as 260 structures could have been at risk, but 45 local firefighters and 60 from outside agencies meant no homes lost and no one harmed.
The long history we have of fires devastating that landscape out there in Sunny Slope has us err on the side of aggression always, and the values at risk, we have hundreds of homes there that are at risk. So our response to this as soon as it came in was to leverage our amazing partnership with the southeast region of the DNR. We contacted their duty officer right away while we're still driving, explained the situation, what's going on. They have access to our dispatch. We made an initial request for air resources while en route. Our primary plan was to hook this and contain it. Brief window of opportunity to do that. We were unsuccessful in that. We had to pull back, regroup, and that is when we started calling for second and third alarm resources. The Wenatchee area has one of the most challenging topography and fuels and structures to fight these urban interface fires in. And we're just super grateful yesterday's winds were calm. It allowed us to be direct on our attack, and everything went really smoothly for us. We have to live with wildfire in our communities. The orchard green belts protecting us here are gone. We have built right into the fuels. The only way we can sustain this or to protect ourselves is to be proactive in hardening our homes with how we build them, buffering with landscapes, leveraging the DNR's landscape program. We have a community wildfire liaison. We're super proactive and aggressive about trying to get people to build this defensible space. It gives us the best chance to protect their homes. Again, here we are. We have 2.5 months to go through summer. It's drier and drier by the day out there. We have winds, they're common to us. We're high risk. The only thing missing is an ignition source, and we can't stop the natural ignition sources when the weather systems move in. We just ask people to be super careful, take time to clean out your gutters, take care of that 5-foot home ignition zone around your house. Help us help you, and we'll make it through this summer.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. And boy, Good thing we didn't see any wind yesterday for that Sunset fire, right? It could have been much, much worse than what it was with the 175 acres. And as Chief Brett said, getting drier by the day out there. And today, another warm one and dry. And I'll tell you what, there is no moisture in our forecast for about the next 7 to 10 days. We'll get to that in a second. But what a gorgeous shot, right? Beautiful sunshine out there today, blue sky and some wispy high cirrus clouds. Made for a beautiful mid-July day today all across north central Washington as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights. Warm day today too for the first time in a while, above normal at Pangbourne Airport. Unofficial high temperature today at 88 degrees. 87 is our normal high for this time of year. Started off at 59 and that's just a couple degrees below 61, which is normal. Our record high 1996, 103 scorching degrees. 1969 the year for our record low, and that was 50 degrees. Sunrise this morning 5:19. Sun will set tonight at 8:54. Let's take a look at how your Wednesday will shape up. Yeah, we're getting to midweek, almost trudging our way to that Friday and the upcoming weekend. We have some major temperatures to talk about this weekend. Pretty warm tomorrow too. 92 in Moses Lake, 92 for Ephrata and Quincy as well. 91 the high temperature in Wenatchee tomorrow. Cashmere at 90, and then a lot of 91s as well from Eniat up to Omak along the Highway 97 corridor. And we'll show you how we're going to get to these scorching temperatures as we go to our surface loop beginning tonight. Mostly clear skies. We will see a little bit of a breeze pick up tonight. Boy, we've been seeing that all spring and early summer. So a little bit breezy later tonight. But in the meantime, pretty nice tonight with those mostly clear skies. As we get into Wednesday, that's where the breezy conditions do come in. We're not talking terribly windy conditions, but just that pesky breeze, maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour at times. It will be warmer tomorrow. I just showed you that. Temperatures anywhere from the upper 80s to the lower 90s. A little more breeze for Thursday. In fact, breezier, I think, Thursday and once again into Friday. Mostly sunny skies, a large area of high pressure out in the Pacific, and it's not going anywhere. So that means our weather is staying pretty much the same through Thursday. Breezy, sunny on Friday, though, slightly cooler. We do have a weak system moving across our ridge, and you can see these isobars tightening up a little bit, and that kicks up the winds. We'll see that for Friday, too. Not as bad, though, just a little bit cooler with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. And then on Saturday, it really starts to warm up. Sunshine all over the western and central United States. High pressure in the Pacific still anchored there, and that means temperatures on Saturday in the lower 90s, maybe even some mid-90s. Definitely lower 90s for Sunday. We are going to see some very warm temperatures beginning on Sunday and going into the first part of next week. We're talking temperatures Sunday lower to mid-90s, and as we get into the first part of next week, you can see the ridge of high pressure built up and over us. That's right, hot. In fact, many places on Monday could reach the mid and upper 90s, maybe even hotter than that after that. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Nice tonight at 61 degrees, 91 your Wednesday high temperature. A little bit breezy. That'll be later in the day. Definitely breezy on Thursday and a little bit Friday too, with temperatures in the upper 80s to about 90. We'll stay 90 degrees or so on Saturday as we kick off our weekend. What a beautiful weekend ahead. Warmer on Sunday at 92, and there you have it by the time we get into Monday. Sunny and hot with a high then of 96 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. It's only an inter-squad game, but at least there's baseball being played at T-Mobile Park. Mariners continue to work out in preparation for their first game of the 2020 season next Friday against Houston. With 60 players in town trying to make the opening day roster, youngsters have stepped up so far in camp. Kyle Lewis has been hitting the cover off the ball and finally made an out in his third inter-squad game yesterday. Meanwhile, Jared Kalenic went deep twice in yesterday's action.
First one, I was looking for something soft. I didn't think that his fastball was going to beat me. Wanted to stay through the left side of the field with it, and was just going to take the approach of a fastball that I was just going to react to it, especially if it was in. And that's kind of just what happened. I believe I took a first pitch curveball that I thought was a ball, and then the next pitch was just a fastball that I reacted and got the head out and smell you later. And then the last one, kind of the same thing. I was looking soft late in the at-bat. I was looking for a fastball early, and wanted to see him out over the plate. He's got some natural cut. And then the curveball, I was just trying to see if it was going to pop. And he threw it, but it was a ball. And I didn't think that he was going to come back to it. And same thing, though. It was just kind of a reaction.
I'm sorry, I was just telling Uriah, with all those empty seats, looks like a regular Mariners game. Watching the younger players step up so far in camp has manager Scott Service really looking forward to getting to real baseball next week.
First of all, I think for me, driving home last night, kind of thinking about the games and what we've watched here the first few days, I'm pumped. I really am. Really excited about what I've seen so far, and it's been great having all the young players in here and getting them the exposure that we've gotten them. So again, I'm super encouraged about what I've seen. Can't wait to start extending these games out a little bit more and building our pitching up there and see more at-bats from our guys. So like I said, I'm really pumped on where we're at.
One of the player services particularly pleased to watch has been Kyle Lewis. Outfielder had made his major league debut late last season and worked extremely hard in the offseason. He's hitting the ball so well, Service would like to cryovac him for the regular season.
We want to wrap him in saran wrap right now and just stick him in a box somewhere and bring him. We'll put him on the plane to go to Houston. He's been great. Just looks phenomenal, and we really saw it from the first workout here, and it's carried over into the games. But it's been fun to watch. Sky is the limit. I keep saying that with Kyle, but the bat and the power's there. I'm really encouraged by what I've seen when I'm in the outfield as well. I think his jumps have been very good in center field, very comfortable out there. Needs to continue to work. A little bit different throwing angles, obviously to the bases, and I think teams will challenge him early on just because haven't seen him in center field that much. But for right now, I couldn't ask for anything more on what we've seen out of Kyle Lewis, and just see what today brings.
Seattle will continue playing inter-squad scrimmages at T-Mobile Park for the next week before they start the COVID-19 shortened season, that is, on Friday in Houston. Well, the Pac-12 has followed the lead of other national conferences in the country to reduce the fall sports schedule to just conference games. In the announcement Friday, the 12-school conference with universities in Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado said football, men's and women's soccer, and women's volleyball will pivot to conference-only schedules. Pac-12 also delayed the start of mandatory athletic workouts, which should have begun this week for the UW football team. The press release states that until a series of healthy and and safety indicators, which have recently trended in a negative direction, provided sufficient positive data to enable to move to a second phase of return to play activities, they're not going to do it. So what does this mean? Well, for Washington State, it means the cancellation of 3 games in September, including home games against Houston and Idaho. On the Montlake Cut, the shaving of the non-conference schedule takes 3 September home games away from the Huskies, including the September 5th kickoff against Michigan. Well, organizers of one of the world's largest 3-on-3 basketball tournaments have decided to cancel. Spokane Hoop Fest had already moved its date back from July to August, but now with a spike in COVID cases in Spokane County, organizers have decided to pull the plug altogether. This would have been the 31st annual event for downtown Spokane, which brings 6,000 teams, 250,000 people. Not only is it a hit to the tournament, but will cost the region nearly $50 million in economic impact. Spokane is in phase 2 of the state's reopening plan, but has seen a spike in positive tests lately for COVID. Hoopfest organizers felt they'd never get to phase 3 in time for the tournament, so best just to cancel. Meanwhile, locally, the annual Sunburn Classic has also been canceled. 7th annual 3-on-3 basketball tournament was scheduled for the last weekend of July on Georgia Street in East Wenatchee, adjacent to Eastmont Community Park. Eastmont Metro Parks and Recreation Director Sally Brawley confirmed its cancellation in an email this morning. Here's a look ahead at our sports broadcast schedule this week on the NCWLIFE channel. It begins on Thursday with hockey. Wenatchee Wild hosting the Merritt Centennials in a game from last September at the Town Toyota Center. Art Checker has your play-by-play beginning at 7 o'clock. Then on Friday, we'll re-air last Saturday's race at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval starting at 6:30. 2 o'clock feature Saturday has a great game of our past, Eastmont and Rogers girls basketball from December of 2017. And then we'll come to you live Saturday night at 6 for more racing at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. They've changed the name. It's Legends, Thunder, and More. Fan-less night at WVSO will be carried live right here on your little old TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And finally tonight, the state says a bobcat has used its Interstate 90 wildlife crossing for the first time. Video from a Washington State Department of Transportation camera last Friday shows the bobcat casually crossing the interstate east of Snoqualmie Pass. The first animal seen on camera using the overcrossing was a coyote back in 2018 while the structure was still under construction. Since then, there have been numerous deer, elk, and other wildlife shown using that crossing, and now a bobcat. Remember, if you have a video of the day that you'd like to see on the NCWLIFE Evening News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCWLIFE channel. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Brad, hey, tomorrow, Wednesday, July 15th, is National Hot Dog Day. And on this very program tomorrow, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I'm going to attempt to break the world record for most hot dogs consumed in an hour. Now, I've looked it up on the internet, and the record is 2. I think I can break it. And by the way, mustard only on hot dogs, all right? You don't put ketchup on hot dogs. It's a mustard thing. Personal opinion. We'll have other important stuff, too, besides me eating hot dogs. Join me on Wednesday with everything you need to start your day live and local. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley right here at 7 a.m. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
My car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love. So tune in to Live It Up.
I'm Carol Andre with Wenatchee Parks and Recreation, and you're watching the NCWLIFE channel.